I've been talking a lot this week about velocity. And if we look at velocity in the marketplace, and so what I'm talking about is the speed of your business. And the speed happens in between your ears. It doesn't happen in terms of what's outside. And, for example, there are plenty of factors outside that are slowing down the market. So we've got rising interest rates, we've got less available stock on the market, we've had a massive, refinance boom through COVID and the subsequent years with all these cashbacks that has been unprecedented. And now we're getting to a point where over the next 6 months, a lot of you are sort of finding the position within your business, something needs to change. I'm not hitting the level of business that I'm used to. I'm not receiving the level of income that I'm used to because the pipeline isn't where I want it to be. So if we think of, this is where the market was and, it had a certain momentum and a certain velocity, right? So that has come down and we need to then make up the difference. So what can we do in our business to get back up to speed? And this is why I'm saying it comes down to your mindset, it comes down to your focus, and it comes down to the activities that you focus on within your business. Because the one thing that we have a choice is how we spend our time. And just like, we've just been through winter, it was a very nice winter in Sydney, but in terms of, we've just been through winter and obviously, things happen in winter. Naturally, the leaves fall off the trees and there's a season and it's great looking out now because, spring is in bloom, right? The flowers are coming, the leaves are starting to come back on the trees and we're in a different season. Similar to the seasons within your business, right? There's a season of things that we need to focus on. And I've always found in my own business that spring is that season where we need to focus on activity. We need to focus on the activities that we're doing within our business to create the results that we want. Especially because, historically, and if I look over 20 years of history of my business, I know that January and February are the toughest months in terms of settlements and cash flow. So we've got a great opportunity. We know that we've got a perfect time over the December-January period where we can slow down and take a break. It's probably, for most of you, it's probably the only time that you get. So having, that in mind, then to increase the activity that we're doing right now, and it starts now. Spring is here. This is the time to, get tactical. And so the season, rather than working on, big strategies on how to improve my systems and processes and that sort of thing, yes, there will be a time for that. And maybe 12 months ago when you had a whole lot of business flowing in and you were worried about how do I get it processed as efficiently as possible, that may have been a time. But the seasons have changed. The leaves are off the trees and it's time to really start doing some key dollar productive activities to reset, because you've really got to reflect. And I do something within my accelerator program. I work with my clients and we have a look at the different time drains in terms of where you're actually spending your time. And we find every time we go through this process, there's 10 to 20 hours per week. So that's 40 to 80 hours a month that people can get back from, and again, these are things like checking emails. These are things like going on social media, checking the Bing of their phone, not putting their phone in the top drawer, answering every call. Things that distract them. If they just took away these areas of waste, then they would create time to do activities that are going to have a massive impact on their business. So when we start to think about it, and I wrote an email yesterday around how I set a goal to write 50 loans in 50 days. And I ended up achieving that goal. And the way that I achieved that goal was having a focus. And once you really bring something in a short-term focus, it's much more likely to happen. One of the things, and again, if you type game plan in the chat here, I'll send you a copy of this document. And what it talks about is the need for having a 6-week game plan. Because what we want to achieve in 10 years or 5 years or 3 years is great for that bigger vision of the life that we want to create. But as you can see over the last 12 months, things happen at a rapid rate in terms of the serviceability that was 12 months ago is not the same as it was today. The number of properties on the market is not there today. The number of cashbacks in the market are not where they were 12 months ago. So we need to change what we're doing, and we need to adjust with the times. And this is why having a 6-week game plan is really, really important, because ultimately, one of the things that sits in the center of my sort of ethos around why I do what I do is because I want you to create that profitable business that you are proud of. Quite often it's easy to be successful and we can lose ourselves sort of in the journey rather than sort of reassessing ourselves, once we get to the peak of where we want to be and say, hey, is this the direction that that I want to head? And how we spend our days is how we spend our lives. So if we can bring it back to a shorter term, we can really come to create that business that we're proud of. If we look at this photo, this is a photo, once I retired from my mortgage broking business, I was, took a trip of a lifetime. I wanted to travel the world, and I spent 30 days in Nepal. And this is taken at 4,000 meters, where I'm looking out to peaks that are 8,000 meters. I quite often sort of refer to this photo because, there's a number of things. One, yes, it's the aspiration I've got to a point in my career where I can afford to take 6 months holiday and I can enjoy the fruits of my labor over the last 16, 17 years in the business. But also because it's about putting one step in front of the other and then reassessing where you are at that point in time. And it's not until you reach one peak within your career that you can sort of see where you want to go next. And this is, where looking at this 6-week game plan really comes in handy, because then we can go, all right, what do I want to create within the business? And the best way to create something is to work from momentum, right? So by focusing on, what are you proud of? What are the things that you've done over the last 12 months that have been really good? What are you confident most right now in the business about? What are those things that you're confident? What are the things that you've done that make you most confident? Quite often, we achieve goals and then we never look back. We never look back to say, where have we come and what have we created? What are we, grateful for? What are we happy about in our business? What does that mean? What are the opportunities for us right now that we've sort of ticked all these boxes? And then, what am I most excited about? What is that vision that I want to create for the future? So once we create momentum, because sales and increasing your velocity is using the momentum in your business. So you can fast track your achievements by, rather than focusing on what's wrong and we have that negativity bias, and we can always focus on what's wrong. Why don't we focus on what's right? Once we focus on what's right, we can go, okay, if this is what I want, this is the momentum that I've got, what are 5 things that I want to achieve in the next 6 weeks within my business? And again, this is where we brainstorm. Write as many things down and come up with the top 5 things that, based on the momentum that you've created in the business, what's going to give you that profitable business that you're proud of, and what are the things that we can implement for you that are right for you over the next 6 weeks. We have a roadmap in our accelerator program, and it steps people through all the different levels in terms of what they need to be focused on right now. And by focusing on just a couple of things and the main things and the right things for you, we find that the acceleration and the momentum in the business is a lot faster and you achieve results a lot quicker. So once we've done that, then we can convert it into a tangible result. So what is that number? What is the number of leads? What is the number of appointments? What is the number of applications that we want to achieve over the next 6 weeks? And how are we then going to measure it? Because if we've got a tool to manage and measure it, then we're much more likely to achieve that goal. And this is what this part of the game plan does. It allows you to blow this up, put it in A3 sort of version, put on your wall, and then allow you to sort of write the names or put the post-it notes of the names and write the applications and settlements that you're doing on a weekly basis over your 6-week journey to ensure that you hit your ultimate goal of what your applications and settlements that you want to achieve over the next 6 weeks. So once we've done that and we've got clear on a tangible result, we then want to look at, well, what are my big rocks? How can I break down those top 3 things that I want to achieve over the next 6 weeks, big 3 over the next 6 weeks. And what will be the results if I go about implementing them, right? So we write down the big rock. And if you've ever read David Allen's book on getting things done, if you have a big rock, the best thing to do is break it down into, well, what are the next actions? What are the next physical actions? So say, for example, my goal was to write 50 loans in 50 days, and that's one of my big rocks. I would break it down and say, okay, well, what do I need to do? What are the number of leads that I need to generate per day to be able to write the 50 loans in 50 days? So, if I've got a conversion rate of 50%, so I may need to generate 2 leads a day, right? So what are the activities then that I can use to generate 2 leads a day? So I've got my prospects list, I've got my referral partners, I've got my existing clients, I've got some marketing seminars. And again, this creates a list of activities that I can now start to implement in my day. And so, we look at, what is the expected results? And again, if it's a tangible thing like 50 loans in 50 days based on your average loan size, you can sort of really do that. And well, what's the first thing that I need to do? So schedule a time in my diary to do business activities between 9 and 10 in the morning, for example, right? And this is the way that we, turn our 6-week game plan into a reality. And we go step by step. It's not rocket science, it's simple, but some of the most complex things within our business, we overcomplicate. So this is why bringing it down into a narrow focus and then committing to taking the actions is really, really important. The power comes in not the knowledge of this. The power comes from the implementation. So if you want help with it, again, you can team up and do it with someone in your office that will keep you accountable. If not, and you want help with it, reach out to me and book in a time. Go to billiondolarbroker.com.au, book in a time. We will create a plan for you and really accelerate your success and really get you achieving. So, come December and January, rather than stressing out, you can have that life that you're proud of. You can spend time with your family. I know I used to, at that time, when I did the 50 loans in 50 days, I went to Canada for 6 weeks and I only touched my phone a couple of times. and I was able to enjoy that time knowing that the income was set, it was coming in the business. I had a team of people that I'd built a big pipeline for, that they could go ahead and process the applications and the settlements. And when I came back to a business that was thriving. So I wish the same for you. Hope you've got a lot of value out of this. As I said, if you want the guide, type game plan below, and interested in your feedback. So comment below as well. Thanks guys, and until next time, I'm Ross LeCain, the founder of the $1 Billion Broker, and I'll talk to you next time.